Hi, my name is Hallie. Welcome to my social work podcast. By now you have probably been on my site and read some of my blogs, therefore you know my viewpoints and more about social work than you did before. That's awesome. That's what my site and these upcoming podcasts are all about. This podcast in particular will touch on what social working is, how it helps people, and also, if you're interested in the social working field, how to find the right path for you. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about me. I like traveling, reading books, and helping people realize their potential. I volunteer and am actively involved in school activities such as FCCLA, Yearbook Club, and was even on the Lip Dub committee. Any chance I get, I love to help people get together and participate in making the school or community a better place to be. Throughout high school, I played soccer and ran cross country. I am currently interested in becoming an adoption care social worker or even work in the high school and help children overcome any tough situations they go through. It is important that everyone feeling confused or unsure about their future has a place to go and someone to talk with that will help them realize the potential they have and guidance to reach their goals. Now on to what is social working. There are many definitions, each one worded differently, but really it comes down to 3 words: maximizing human potential. Another way to look at it is creating a path of meaning. While there are times a person may be stuck in confusion, a social worker will be there as their guiding light. Social workers participate in education assessment meetings as well as individual educational planning meetings. They also work with problems in a child's living situation that may affect the child's adjustment to school, at home, or in the community. The most important part is the assistance in developing positive behavior strategies. This means getting the person to realize that there are many different plans they can create to get to where they would like to be. Oftentimes, people experience a tough event in their life and believe it is the end-all for them. They allow themselves to fall behind because they believe that they cannot possibly go on or be able to succeed. That is far from the truth. Everyone is able to create a goal, work hard, and eventually achieve it. Social workers guide you along this difficult process and help you realize that you can overcome, and the potential to overcome whatever it is you may be going through has been inside you all along. A quote by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe says, "If you treat a person as he is, he will stay as he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be." This quote is another way to look at social working. While you may see a person as he is, there are many different ways a person can become. Life is ever-changing, and so are we. As soon as we realize that, the times of feeling stuck will be less about defeat and more about understanding that at this particular time in your life, you are gaining strength you may not have had before and can now use in later times of life. Now we are going to look at the 5 core social work values. Human dignity and worth is one of them. Social workers treat each person in a caring and respectful fashion, mindful of individual differences and cultural and ethnic diversity. Social workers promote clients' socially responsible self-determination. Social workers also seek to enhance clients' capacity and opportunity to change and to address their own needs. Social workers are cognizant of their dual responsibility to clients and the broader society. They seek to resolve conflicts between clients' interests and the broader society's interests in a socially responsible manner consistent with the values, ethical principles, and ethical standards of the profession. Another is social injustice. Social workers pursue social change, particularly with and on behalf of vulnerable and oppressed individuals and groups of people. Social workers' social change efforts are focused primarily on issues of poverty, unemployment, discrimination, and other forms of social injustice. These activities seek to promote sensitivity to and knowledge about oppression and cultural and ethnic diversity. Social workers strive to ensure access to needed information, services, and resources, equality of opportunity, and meaningful participation in decision-making for all people. Service to humanity. Social workers elevate service to others above self-interest. Social workers draw on their knowledge, values, and skills to help people in need and to address social problems. Social workers are encouraged to volunteer some portion of their professional skills with no expectation of significant financial return. Integrity. Social workers are continually aware of the profession's missions, values, ethical principles, and ethical standards, and practice in a manner consistent with them. Social workers act honestly and responsibly and promote ethical practices on the part of the organizations which they are affiliated. Competence. Social workers continually strive to increase their professional knowledge and skills and to apply them in practice. Social workers should aspire to contribute to the knowledge base of their profession. Social workers create an equal commitment to working with and enabling people to achieve the best possible levels of personal and social well-being, and working to achieve social justice through social development and social change. This involves upholding people's interests and rights, working with individuals, groups, and communities in the pursuit and achievement of equitable access to social, economic, and political resources, providing assistance to improve the well-being of clients. Clients are individuals, families, groups, communities, organizations, and societies, especially those who are neglected, vulnerable, disadvantaged, or have exceptional needs. Raising awareness of structural inequities, acting to bring about social change to reduce social barriers, inequality, and injustice. All of the values are ways social work is able to maximize human potential, and these principles set forth ideals to which all social workers should aspire. The final stage of understanding the purpose of social work and identifying how you might add value to this purpose is to revisit this now that you have a greater understanding not only of your purpose, but the purpose of social work and how you're going to pursue it. Feeling confused is normal. However, it is important to focus in and gain insight into who you are and what motivates you. Currently, in my own experience, I am realizing there are many different paths social working could take me on, in my education and career-wise. I am not sure where to begin, what to do, or who to turn to that can provide me with so many needed answers. I took a step back and asked myself these questions. What do I value? Well, I know I value honesty, acceptingness, and accountability. What qualities in people do I admire and why? I admire the ability to laugh in tough times, and I also admire people who are outgoing. If you can realize that tough times are not forever, you take a little more time to appreciate the good times more often. And I admire those who are outgoing because they make friends and connections, all important in professional career work. If I looked back over my life, what experiences do I want to have had? This question is tough for me to answer because I am only 18. I haven't had many exciting experiences yet, but if I were to look back, I would hope that I experienced the feeling of changing someone's life, or just knowing that because of me, their day may have been better. What challenges me? This question is important because oftentimes we push aside what challenges us and focus on what comes easy. Asking yourself what challenges you and working towards overcoming is called growth. I have a particularly hard time with procrastination and letting my fear of saying something wrong keep me from meeting or interacting with new people. What sparks my interest? Ideas about creating change in the educational environment spark my interest. I love reading articles about how we can get students together more and interact with each other. I truly believe if there are more school events, the students would feel more of a sense of belonging and community within the school atmosphere. All of the questions I answered may help me create an idea of a certain place in the social working field for me. For example, let's say another person realizes they value fairness and believe that deep down all individuals deserve the right to freedom. Additionally, they identified that one of their strengths was leadership. Reading over the above list, let's imagine that final point, acting to bring about social change, really stuck with them. By putting these together, they might articulate that organizing an event to advocate for and promote change for a marginalized group would tap into their purpose. This now gives them a clear vision of the sorts of experiences that would contribute to having a meaningful and sustainable social work career. Although this podcast was directed towards social working, it is important to remember that throughout your career, it is important to take a step back and recognize what it is you need to work on, or when a certain time of your life is over and you must push yourself into something new. Well, if you've made it this far, then you've gotten to the end of my social working podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to my first ever podcast. Come back in 2 weeks where I have a special guest to interview about social working. Enjoy your weekend and happy Easter.